Okay, last chapter. Looks like it's back to Hector now. Okay, so chapter 15. Hector journeyed into the woods with Edmund in the dark and rain and wind. Edmund was an expert guide, or at least he seemed to be. They crept and picked their way through the forest. Edmund stopped every now and then to touch a tree or perk his head up and listen. Then they'd shift direction and keep going. More than once, Edmund turned back to Hector to tell him to keep up. It was just like Holly telling him what to do. She probably walked through the forest perfectly, he thought, rolling his eyes. Then he remembered Holly's face back at the park, red from crying. I'm going to find her, he told himself. I'm going to make this right. Hey, Hector called over to Edmund. Is this really hide and seek? Edmund stopped and squatted down. Raindrops splattered on his head. Do you wish to converse for a moment, he asked, before we continue our track? Yeah, Hector said, kneeling beside him. Let's converse. What queries do you have? Do you always talk like that? Hector asked. Edmund didn't respond. Hector vanished. He could see his expression, but it was too dark. Never mind. I was asking if we were playing hide and seek. The Hiddenseek, Edmund corrected him. Yeah, but that's just another name for hide and seek, right? Like someone's it and they're trying to catch us. Is it that wolf? Sometimes. Oh. Hector nodded, as if that made any sense. So, how'd we win? Win? Edmund asked, like the concept was foreign to him. There's a way to win, right? Hector edged closer to Edmund to get back home. Edmund scowled. There it is, what everybody wants. Home, home, home. I thought you were seeking your sister. We are, but do you know where it is? The way home? Edmund crossed his arms and turned his head from Hector, but he nodded. Yes. So why are you still here? Again, Hector was met with silence. Thunder cracked, and what had been spitting rain became an unrelenting downpour. It had been hard to see before. Now it was impossible. The cave is near, Edmund said. Your sister will be there. If she has not already been caught. Why didn't you say so? Hector demanded. That was the best news he'd ever heard. Grab a hold of my shirt, Edmund said. Don't let go. Hector did as he was told and grasped Edmund's soaking wet shirt. Then Edmund took off. Hector lurched forward, his feet skidding over the muddy forest floor to keep up. Edmund moved fast. It was like the rain and the dark didn't slow him down at all. Hector tried once or twice to talk to him again, but he never responded. The only sound was the pounding roar of the storm. Suddenly Edmund stopped. Hector collided with him. What on earth? Hector said. In front of them was a giant mass of fog. It rolled and pulsed, expanding and contracting, almost like it was breathing. It was a breathing, living thing. Edmund drew back. We can't go this way. What is it? Hector asked. But Edmund turned and ran. Edmund? Hector called for him. Edmund! And just like that, Hector was alone. He took one more look at the strange fog and then chased after Edmund into the black, dark forest. He stumbled about blindly, frantically searching the shadows for any sign of Edmund. He called his name, but there was no response. He dashed forward every single time he saw a hint of movement in the dark or heard the snapping of branches. Every time he found nothing, he spun around and realized he had no idea where that weird fog was now, where he was, where anything was. He was completely, utterly lost and on his own. Oof! The yelp came from somewhere on Hector's left. It sounded like someone falling. Help! Edmund's voice carried over the storm. Help! Hector ran toward the cries. He skidded to a stop at a steep, muddy embankment to hear the sound of rushing water and could just make out the dark ripples of flowing river below. Right in front of him, clinging to the side of the ridge, was Edmund. His fingers were sinking into the mud, slipping. Hector reached down and grabbed Edmund's hands. They were freezing, like he'd just dipped his hands in a bucket of ice. They were so cold it hurt, and every instinct in his body told Hector to let go. But he ignored the pain and the cold and held on tighter. He heaved with all his might and pulled Edmund out. Edmund and Hector both toppled over onto the ground. They sat in the mud, panting. "You caught me," Edmund said. He seemed to be in disbelief. "You saved me." Moonlight pushed through the clouds. The rain was finally letting up. Hector was so exhausted he could only nod. Edmund just continued to stare at him, his eyes welling with gratitude. They both turned their heads back down the river at a new sound. Someone was yelling, actually. More than one person. They were calling names out as the river carried them away. "Petunia! Holly!" Hector turned to Edmund. "It's Holly, my sister." Hector got up, trying to see where the river led. He reached down and pulled Edmund to his feet. "Come on, we've got to go find her." And that is the end of that chapter. And anyways, hope you liked it. If you did, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, maybe, and share with your friends for more awesome videos like this. Bye!